Hey everyone, my name is Faison and I graduated from Richmond in 2017 and then moved to New York City right after. So I've been in the city for about 3 to 4 years now and kind of lived throughout the pandemic over here as well. So I've seen the city kind of go from pin drop silence to back to its vibrance and natural self.
Hi everyone, my name is Mia and I graduated from Richmond in 2016. I've been living in New York for about 3 years now, and prior to that I was living out of Chicago for a handful of years as well.
Hey everyone, my name is Edenia Bogaro and I graduated in the class of 2017. I moved to New York in late 2018 and at that point I lived in Gramercy right around 19th and 2nd. But this year I actually moved to Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which has been really exciting just to explore a new borough of New York.
Hey guys, my name is Matt Spelcome, class of 2015. I've been in New York City for the last 5 or 6 years. There's obviously so much to enjoy as a spider in New York. I couldn't possibly pick my favorite restaurant, which was one of the prompts. There's too many good foods to eat here. Pretty much every price range, every cuisine, you can find it here.
So figured I'd share some thoughts on the city. I have never lived in a big city like New York before. I'm a huge runner and I love my trees and greens. So this is usually where I find my safe haven. This is Central Park, right close to this huge garden we call Sheep Meadow. People come here throughout the summer to do picnics with their friends. You'll see people playing games. There's some beach volleyball happening right behind me. So this is a great place to come relax and have a great time.
If I had to pick a few of my favorite spots in the city, it's really difficult because there are so many places to go, but I'd say my favorite coffee shop is Yanni's Coffee in Chelsea. My favorite bar is probably Mother's Ruin in Nolita. And then one of my favorite restaurants is Red Farm in the West Village.
For my favorite restaurants, things to do, all of that, I'll share things that are both in Manhattan and in Brooklyn. I'm sure for you guys that are watching, you'll probably spend most of your time in Manhattan. I think a lot of people, when they first move to New York, try to move somewhere actually within the city. So favorite restaurants-wise, the number one restaurant that I'd call out is called L'Artusi, and it's Italian food in the West Village. Great restaurant, love it. Close second, third, and fourth place I'd give to Shuka, which is Mediterranean. It's a blue restaurant or blue outside restaurant in Soho area. Also I'd call out Chinese Tuxedo, which is Cantonese food, and Wela, which is Thai food.
As far as what I like most about New York that I haven't found anywhere else is just the energy. I don't think there's any city quite like it in terms of just being surrounded by people, moving all the time, high energy, and constantly go out and chasing what they want. I think that one of the things about New York that is kind of underrated or something that I really like is the comedy scene here and just being entertained. It's impossible to be bored here if you're out trying to do things. We have Broadway, best comedy sellers or comedy shows rather in the whole country, museums, parks, anything you could possibly want to do, you can go out and find here. So it's pretty tough to be bored.
Bars wise, I think that one totally depends on you and what you're looking for. There is a bar in New York for every type of person, vibe, night out, evening out, whatever you're looking for. I'd suggest for cocktails, Mace, which used to have a location in Alphabet City, but they opened up a new one in Greenwich Village, and I think they actually closed down their location in Alphabet City sometime during COVID. Also, Blind Barber is a pretty cool speakeasy in Alphabet City that I would definitely recommend too. And lastly is a new bar that I went to for the first time just maybe a couple months ago called Union Pool that's in Williamsburg. Favorite things to do. So back when I lived in my old apartment, one of my favorite things to do was to go to Union Square Market over the weekend. They have a ton of fresh groceries like produce, cheese, all the things that you could think of that you could get from locally sourced farmers around the area. But now I live in Brooklyn, I don't go to that market that much anymore. And my number one thing to do now is go on bike rides with my bike that I bought from Facebook Marketplace, which I was really excited about. And as for some unique things to do, I'm sure the things that I'm naming aren't even anywhere near the most unique things that you can find in New York, but I went to a trapeze class on the west side. I think it's around Pier 40. That was really cool. And then also there's a bunch of like cheese or classes that you could do in New York. I've done one at Murray's Cheese Shop that was pretty cool too.
If I had to give you a piece of advice as you move to New York, I'd say try to explore as many different neighborhoods as you possibly can. You're gonna find that you like one or multiple things about every neighborhood that you go to. And frankly, they're all a little bit different, especially as you get into some of the different boroughs. So it's just really fun to see new places and really get to know the city, not just where you live and work, but also other neighborhoods as well. With that, please don't hesitate to reach out as you get settled if you have any questions, but we hope to see you at some of the alumni events.
As for words of advice that I'd share, the biggest one that I'd say is don't get stuck doing the same things or going to the same places and having a routine too much in New York. I think it's a really easy thing to do, especially if you went to Richmond and are from the area or have a ton of friends that moved here. I think it's easy to get used to going to the places that are comfortable, but there's just way too much to explore in New York to try to get too comfortable. So have a list of places that you want to try out and try to be intentful about actually going there. I think especially with the pandemic, it made me realize that there were places that I had on my list that I never got to, and now they closed down. So I kind of wish I did a better job of doing that when I'd moved here originally. And of course, feel free to reach out to me. I know that there's people that I've connected with that went to Richmond that I didn't know that well, just by shooting them a message to meet up. So I encourage you all to do the same thing too, to not feel afraid to send somebody a message. All right, thanks and good luck.
Plenty of activities in the city, great restaurants, great eating scene. I think I had a tough time in my first year blending in just because I did not know many people around. But you'll see that the city is very vibrant and welcomes people from all backgrounds and all different cities. So I was able to have a really good time once I started to get to know more people and started to get to know city a little bit better. So I hope when you move here, you have a great time. Can't wait to meet you all. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or the alumni committee. Have a great time, guys. Bye.
As far as advice, maybe just eat as much as you can. It sounds bad. But just try all the different restaurants. There's so much good food. Reach out to older alumni. I can't tell you how many different spiders I've kind of met in business or kind of just on the street and kind of walking around. So if you see someone in a Richmond hat, just say hello. Because odds are you know somebody or have somebody in common. You can do, anything you want in New York, and there's plenty of time to watch Netflix when we're old. So you might as well just take advantage of the city and do as much as you can. Yeah, look forward to seeing you guys in New York soon.